Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome into the Morning Five on January 12th, 2015. I am Dave Biddle coming to you live from here in Dallas. I am with my man Steve Hellwagon and our special guest, Kevin Noon, publisher of Rivals.com. Gentlemen, let's start off talking about Tim Beck being hired as Ohio State's co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. This is not official yet, but Joe Shedd of ESPN reported this, and Nebraska, he was at Nebraska for the last 4 years, Steve. Very successful there. Your thoughts on this hire?
Well, here's the thing I think about with Tim Beck. He has a relationship, obviously, with Ed Warner. And this is Ed Warner's show going forward. Tom Herman is gone after the game today. And Ed Warner is very familiar and very comfortable with Tim Beck. Tim Beck was available because, obviously, the Nebraska staff was out after Bo Pelini was fired from Nebraska. And I think Tim Beck, with his Youngstown, Ohio ties, and also his fact that he was a high school coach and also Kansas with Warner, the success that they had. And I just think that he's a guy that they're going to be able to go into Texas. I don't know what the recruiting ramifications will be with him, but I think he's a guy that Ed Warner is comfortable with. And I think he's a guy that Ed Warner told Urban Meyer that I think we can win championships with Tim Beck as our quarterbacks coach. And so I think that's where it's at with that. I think to go much beyond that, I think it's too early to say what the impact is going to be.
Nooner, Buckeye fans are, yes, they're split about this, but here's what I say to Buckeye fans who are not enamored with the Tim Beck hiring. Urban Meyer has proven he is excellent at hiring assistant coaches. Dan Mullen, Charlie Strong, Steve Adazio, Tom Herman, the list goes on and on and on. Kevin Noon, your thoughts on this hire of Tim Beck?
I was pretty lukewarm on the name at first. I didn't even put him on our list that we had over at Buckeye Grove on potential candidates for that position. But I warmed up a little bit on it the more research I did on it. And I have to agree with a lot of the things that you both have said. He does open up Texas again. You do lose your Texas recruiting with Tom Herman taking the head coaching gig at the University of Houston. And let's remember, this is Ed Warner's show. When they were together in 2007, when they went 12-1 and won at the Orange Bowl, and you do need to have that comfortability between your coaches. And at the end of the day, Urban Meyer has put a huge premium on having guys who have ties to the state of Ohio. And Tim Beck being a Cardinal Mooney guy is going to be very important. So you can't sit there and go against Urban Meyer at this point and say, well, he doesn't know how to put together a staff. He obviously knows how to put together a staff.
I would agree. He's pretty good at that. I would call him the best in the business.
He's proven.
Gentlemen, let's move on to Trey Johnson. A lot of people have wondered, what's going on with Trey Johnson? He's one of the best linebacker recruits in the country in the 2013 class. Hasn't played much at Ohio State. Well, now we know. Arthritis in his knees, and he has given up his college football career. He will remain at Ohio State as a student assistant coach. He will get his degree from Ohio State, and that's good. I feel really good for him that he's going to stay at Ohio State. I feel bad for him that he's going to have to give up his football career. Steve, we'll start with you. Trey Johnson, one of the top recruits in the nation, and he's going to have to give up his football career.
Yeah, I was there at the Under Armour game 3 years ago when he committed to Ohio State, and Trey was so excited about playing for the Buckeyes. I talked to his high school coach at that time, and they thought that was the best move for Trey Johnson was to come to Ohio State, and it never worked out for him, and it's very unfortunate, obviously, that he had this injury that has curtailed his playing career, tremendous potential, and it really, it's sad from the standpoint when you think about all of the linebackers that Ohio State has recruited, and he's the next one on the list to go with, like Ewan Price, Connor Kroll, all these other guys, Boone Perkins, and all these other guys that just didn't work out at Ohio State. Kind of puts him in a bind a little bit at linebacker, but again, you have Perry at one side, you have Lee at the other, you have Raekwon McMillan in the middle. The first three, you're good, but this again hurts your depth because Trey Johnson, in my opinion, if he had panned out, would have been a guy that would have provided tremendous depth for the Buckeyes. A great kid, great family, met him at the Under Armour game, and I'm just so sad that we never got to see his full potential at Ohio State.
Kevin Newton, it's kind of funny thinking back to that 2013 class. Ohio State fans were very excited to get two excellent linebackers in that class, Mike Mitchell and Trey Johnson. Both those guys are gone. They got another pretty good linebacker in that class, and Darren Lee. Nobody knew at that time it was going to be Darren Lee. But, talk about the loss of Trey Johnson and maybe the emergence of Darren Lee as well.
Well, you sit there and you look at that class, and they had, I think, 7 guys that were part of that class are no longer with Ohio State. And then Steve mentioned Ewan Price, who never signed really with Ohio State, ended up at Pitt. You just never know, and it goes to show a lot of the things that Urban Meyer talks about, that it's the rule of the thirds. You're going to have 1/3 of the guys that are just never going to pan out. You're going to have 1/3 of the guys that are going to be filling in depth, and 1/3 of the guys that could potentially be stars. And talking about stars, Darren Lee is going to be that star, but he was not necessarily recruited as a linebacker. He was recruited as an athlete. A lot of people thought that he might be that nickel, and this was pre-Chris Ash, before Ohio State truly went back to the 4-3 where they needed to be and not running nickel as base, but that's another story right there. And Darren Lee has really taken the ball and run with it, and the guy that's kind of been forgotten because of all that is Chris Worley, who can't get on the field because Lee's playing so well.
All right, gentlemen, let's cut to the chase.
Here we go.
The game is today. We've been waiting for it. Hey,
Championship Monday.
There is a football game today, my friends. And we're going to give some predictions right here. We're not biased at all. Yes, we are. But we're going to give you some educated opinions here and some predictions. I'll go first. I'm going to take the Buckeyes, shockingly. And I know you guys are really surprised about this, but I'm taking Ohio State to win this game, 45-36. Oregon, it could go either way. Let's be real. Oregon is a fantastic team. They have the best quarterback in the country, but I love Ohio State's matchup here. I just think they're the more physical team. Oregon's a little banged up. Marcus Mariota, as great as he is, has not seen a defense this good. Ohio State's peaking at the right time, and I love Ohio State's offense, how balanced they are, how explosive they are. So Buckeyes by 9, 45-36 in my opinion. Steve Hellwagon, your prediction in this
My
game.
objective prediction. Okay, here's the thing. Ohio State football. This is the 125th year of Ohio State football. They have had 7 national championship teams, 5 that we would consider consensus, 42, 54, 57, 68, and of course, 2002.
That's right, Miami fans. And that was pass interference, by the way. Quit crying about it.
Or defensive holdings.
We babies.
We love that Big 12 crew. Okay.
Hurricane Cry Boys.
Okay. It's 12 years. And you know what? For a lot of Ohio State fans, won national championship since 1968. Ohio State is one of the top 5 football programs in America. And this is a validation game, I think, for Urban Meyer. This is a validation game for Ohio State football. Either you are or you aren't. As Mickey Marotti would say, some do, some don't. The famed strength coach for the Buckeyes. I mean, they talk about February being such a tough month for Ohio State and the players that they put them through so much. Well, all their hard work, everything they've done, all the adversity they've gone through with J.T. Barrett and Braxton Miller being injured, Noah Spence suspended, losing to Virginia Tech. Everything that's happened, it culminates on this Monday night. Here we are in Big D against Oregon, a national championship game, and they have to bring it. And the thing is, they just beat Alabama 11 days ago.
Yes,
and I think
I remember that. That was awesome.
The biggest brand name in the current history of the sport. 3 of the last 5 national championships went to Alabama. And here's the thing. Did they spend it all at the Sugar Bowl? Do they have anything left to give? Because Oregon is going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a physical game. 5 years ago, Ohio State beat Oregon at the Rose Bowl, but so much has changed since then. The game has changed a lot since then. I think Ohio State, Cardinal Jones is going to play a good game. I look at Ohio State has a very good defense. I look at Oregon, a little suspect on defense. I think Ohio State wins this game 45-38, probably with a late touchdown. And it's going to be an amazing national championship game tonight. And this is going to be one we're going to remember for a very long time.
Kevin Noon, I'm sure you will not be as long-winded as our good friend Steve Hellwagon.
What I want to say.
Kevin Noon from BuckeyeGroveRivals.com, your prediction for the inaugural College Football Playoff National Championship game.
Well, I've worked in the message board game for a long time, and I'm predicting first and foremost that there are going to be a lot of emotions on the message boards. Oregon is going to score some points. Fans are going to fret. Ohio State's going to score some points.
Fickle, what are we doing?
Fans are going to rejoice. Darn you, Mensa. Darn you, Fickle. What's going on around here? But I'm going to go back to history. In 1939, Ohio State and Oregon played in the first ever tournament-era national championship in men's basketball. Oregon got the best of Ohio State.
As Joey Galloway said, why do you have to bring that up?
Oregon got the best of Ohio State 46-33. I don't know how you get to 46-33 in college football. Maybe some Canadian rule stuff. I don't know. But I am a big stickler for history. I love history. They're not going to be able to slow down Zeke Elliott. I think the Ohio State defense is going to be able to step up, force a couple 3-and-outs. When it's all said and done, 46-33 Ohio State, your 8th national championship. Again, maybe it's 6. It depends on how
6, 8, whatever.
However you believe those things go. But the Buckeyes are bringing home the hardware. Get ready for the parades. C. Grant can go sing. It's going to be a great time in Columbus. Buy your newspapers. Try the veal. Tip your servers. Go Bucks.
Yes, sir. Here you have 3 unbiased journalists picking Ohio State to win this game. You're shocked, I know. Thanks to Kevin Noon. Thanks to Steve Hellwagon. Thanks to you out there, my listeners. Take it away, best damn band in the land.